You were walking through the park late in the evening with Mikey, just to make sure no one saw him even though it was snowing, and both of you were bundled up pretty well. You watched the overjoyed turtle giggle and skip around, kicking up snow from time to time. You had to admit, you found the orange masked turtle highly adorable and spent every moment you could with him, which wasn't hard because he wanted most of your attention anyway. "Hey, Mikey!" "Yeah, name?" he asked, stopping his movements to look at you. Some snow he had kicked up on top of his shoulders and beanie. Giggling, you walked over, wiping off the snow before asking, "Do you want to make some snow angels?" To which he grinned and nodded, bouncing slightly with glee, but asked, "Why?" Taking his hand, you walked to a relatively even plot of land before plopping down on the snow. "Because it's fun," you said with a grin. He didn't object and lay down next to you. There you two lay, making as many snow angels as you possibly could for hours, while talking about the things that have been going on in your lives. Mikey had beaten his high score in every video game he had made, which made him ecstatic. He had gotten better in training and was focusing more than before. Well, not much, but he was getting there. He had managed to pull some awesome pranks, but sadly, you weren't there to see them, and he also got caught after which he was trying to avoid. Angry Raph is the bad Raph indeed. Skateboarding skills had definitely improved, and he had mastered those tricks he hadn't been able to do in the months before. Also, he bragged about how many foot and purple dragons he had taken down all by himself. Clunk was doing well, but he had missed you, much like Mikey, but he wasn't going to say just how much. You had gotten better grades and had been able to study more, seeing as how you weren't big on doing it before. Family life has been good, though you felt bad because you couldn't hang out with him and his family anymore. You had things you had to do. You were just glad you were on break so you could spend all the time with Mikey and his family. But mostly Mikey. "So, you have any plans for the holidays?" he asked, looking at you from where you both lay after deciding to take a break from snow angel making. "Yeah, spend it with my family. At some time go and spend time with you guys," you said, looking back at him. He had the prettiest baby blue eyes. They sparkled when he was happy and had a way of pulling you in. He was just the biggest ball of cuteness and energy. Sometimes you just didn't know what to do. "That's cool," he chirped with a nod and sat up. "Wish we could come up here and be, well, us. But people would freak out," he said softly, casting his gaze to the ground sadly. Sitting up, you scooted over to sit with him. "Yeah, well, hey, maybe someday that can happen." "What do you mean by why earlier, when I asked you if you want to make some snow angels?" That had been in the back of your mind, and you decided to ask it in an attempt that it would make him happy again. Blinking, his eyes lit up as he smiled at you. "Oh, well, I just didn't see a need for you to do it, is all," he said, and chuckled, seeing your confused face, and gently caressed your cheek. "I mean, you're already an angel." Your heart raced, and your cheeks were a color that would put Raph's mask to shame. You didn't know what to say. You were at a loss for words, stunned that he thought of you like that. No way you did not expect him to ever think of you more than a friend. What were you thinking? He probably meant it in a friendly way. "Mikey, would you would you like to be part of your Christmas gift now?" Squealing happily, he nodded, grinning. "I sure would, Name. And I won't tell, I promise," he said in a slightly hushed voice. Smiling, you took a deep breath and moved his scarf slightly before kissing him quickly. Sure, you had only one plan on giving him the new video game you bought with him, but last-minute changes were made and you added onto the gift. Watching his cheeks turn a pink ink flush, you couldn't help but giggle, seeing the slightly confused look on his face. Tilting his head to the side, he looked at you with a confused look before smiling. Can I ask you something? Probably what that kiss was all about. Oh well, it was bound to come out that you had a thing for him eventually. Nodding, you prepare yourself to be rejected. Well, I've been wanting to ask you this for a while now, so, he said, glancing at you, then his scarf that he fiddled with nervously and backing up to you. Do you think maybe you could be my angel? That wasn't what you had expected at all. You expected something like, why did you kiss me? Or some confused statement, but if you do not understand what he asked, he wanted you to be his girlfriend. After a moment of silence passed between you, you hugged him, tackling him back into the snow, both giggling. I'd love to, you said. Yes, he cried triumphantly. You hear that, world? Last name is my angel!